What does the role music play in short form content?
Trending audio is everything. You see it now with any trending music. The trending sounds, when you click on the audio, you can see all the other reels or anything else. You can go along with the trending sounds, which work.
You're listening to the Venue RX podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Jonathan here with the Venue RX, and on this channel, we are passionate about documenting and sharing best practices around owning, operating, and managing world-class wedding venues. And we do a number of different styles of shows on this channel. Today, we have for you someone who is an educator in the wedding and events industry, someone who is a photographer, a content creator, and I'm really excited about this conversation because we're going to be talking about short form video and just how to make better content overall. We're going to talk about a lot of things related to marketing. So this one is going to be an awesome episode, and I'm really excited to welcome Chip Dizard to the show. Thank you so much for being here, Chip.
Hey, Jonathan, thank you so much for having me. I'm stoked to be on here, and let's make this thing happen.
All right. Well, I'm excited to talk with you. You've got the education work that you do for the wedding and events industry. You've got your photography stuff. Could you give me a little bit of a background on yourself and why the wedding and events industry?
Yeah, well, really, I fell into the wedding events like many people. I didn't really want to do weddings. A friend of mine asked me in 2010 to film and photograph his wedding. And I was like, man, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I was just working in a church at the time as a tech guy, AV guy, and he said, well, just use the church cameras and just use your camera. A friend of mine let me hold, and I did it and then put it on YouTube, and then more people saw it. And it was a funny thing. It was a concert wedding. So they didn't have a reception, but he is a record producer and his wife is an opera singer. So they had a whole hour before the wedding started of like a concert, and then another 45-minute wedding. It was crazy. And I never did anything like that probably ever since. But back then I put it on YouTube. Other people saw it. They're like, you could do our wedding. You could do our. I said, I don't know what the world I'm doing. And I just learned after 2010, 2012, 14, got better. I said, I need some professional training here. So I took some classes from this videographer and took some photography classes. I already knew it because I was working at church part-time, but I was a school teacher, believe it or not. I was an educator, and I taught photography and videography. And in 2015, I left school teaching the public school system in Baltimore, Maryland, and started my business full-time. And I've been good ever since about 2015, full-time doing this.
Wow. So we're coming up on 10 years for you then.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Can't even believe it. Been doing it longer than 10 years, but full time, just being a content creator and doing this stuff and dealing with weddings, especially the events and mentoring. So I'm an educator by nature, and I teach people and create content, and that's what I was doing. And now I impart that knowledge to a lot of my mentees.
I love that. I'm curious, you were telling me about the kind of the process that you went through getting into photography. And I'm curious because it's a real struggle for a lot of people getting into that space and then changing their prices as they learn more, as they get better, as they evolve. I'm sure you've had to change your prices a bunch of times. And this is kind of an unrelated topic to short form video, but could you just share with us a little bit of your journey through raising your prices, getting better, maybe raising your prices again, any pushback that you received? How did you even maybe internally struggle with that a little bit? Give us some insight on that.
Yeah, Jonathan, there's a guy, there's a podcast that I was listening to. It's called This American Life. And the gentleman, Ira Glass, has this great saying where he says that when you're first starting out at something, whether you own a venue, whether you are a photographer, whatever you do, a baker, your taste is better than what you can produce, right? So your taste is always better. I like to eat, but I'm not a great cook. But the thing to do better is you got to put the hours and time in. Some people take longer than most. So I love photography, I love videography, but back then I was teaching it, but I wasn't that good. So then I had to look at people and help myself and train myself to get better, therefore raising my prices. So therefore, when you put those hours in, you know? And then finally, when you catch up, when you taste, you was like, you know what? I like my work. And you can look back at your old work, or you look back at your old venue, you're like, what was I doing when I first opened this venue? Or what was I thinking when I put these tiles over here? And, like 10 years ago, you'll look at stuff, you say, my God, what's that wood paneling doing there? Or something like that. So what raising your prices is being intentional and having people around you that can critique you and say, hey, Chip, that's not it. But guess what? This is what the standard should be. So I had people around me. I always say I have people around me that love me, but they're not impressed by me. So as long as I kept that circle tight, Jonathan, I think if you have that circle tight, your prices can gradually increase. Now, here's the other caveat to that, Jonathan. Not everybody should raise their prices, because you have to know when to do it. Because everybody always says, raise your prices, raise your prices, raise your prices. But as an entrepreneur, it's hard to know. But you'll know. The reason how I knew to raise my prices, when my schedule was fully packed. That's what I knew. I knew I needed to create some distance between my schedule. And when I knew I was overbooked and I was doing 3 weddings and 4 weddings in a week on a 4-day weekend, or 3 weddings is up, time to raise the prices because I'm in demand. There's old saying that you can't make demands unless you're in demand. Okay. Yeah. If you're open to act, you can't say, I want Beyonce to open for me. No, Beyonce would never open for me, right? I would open up for her because she makes the demands, because she's in demand. That's why she has a world tour now, right? So I'm just saying that you have to know where you are and have people around you who have the courage enough to tell you. So I had to surround myself with people. I had the courage. I had a mentor, and I had people to tell me, hey, Chip, it's time to raise your prices. You're overbooked now.
Yeah. That's so cool. I love hearing that. A lot of times I think people think they're struggling with something in their business. They think maybe they're going to raise their prices and that's going to actually help somehow fix something that's in their business. But the only thing that fixes, like you said, is a booked out calendar where you're trying to create that distance. You're trying to create, a more balanced ecosystem because you are in demand. So I love that. That was powerful. Talk to me about short form content. Do you think that people are utilizing it correctly? Do you think it's still an opportunity? Is it kind of played out because it's everywhere? TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts, like all this stuff? Or do you think there's a huge opportunity there still?
I think it's still in 2023, to be honest, a huge opportunity. I was very skeptical. I came into the game as a traditionalist where I was like, don't do vertical video. Don't do vertical video. Look at me. I was dead wrong. But once I embraced the spirit of the times, this is where it is. You just see it, not only from TikTok, but just everywhere. We're helping people solve problems within 15 seconds. You don't know how many recipes I've learned to cook in 30 seconds or less instead of watching a 20-minute show. You understand? Like, I just need those small sparks of inspiration sometimes. And it's here to stay. And especially in the event space and in the venues have an awesome opportunity to share exactly what you want people to see. I was in the process just recently, I'm getting married. So I'm looking for a venue. And when I'm looking for a venue, the first thing I'm looking for is what? A walkthrough to see before I walk in there. And how many people don't have a short video on their site, on their TikTok of how it looks? Realtors have it down pat. I just want venue owners to know, and it's so important, have a short 15-second video of a walkthrough through your space. It will increase your sales tenfold.
That's crazy. And that's like direct feedback from me. Cause like we've got a pretty decent social media presence, I think, for the 5 venues that we manage, but we don't have a walkthrough. And you are so bright. We need to be able to land on that page, whether it's on TikTok, we could even do one on Pinterest, right, and just like get through that space.
Look at real estate people. Realtors have it. When I'm looking for houses, I'm in the market looking for a new house. And the first thing I'm going is looking at the short-term form Instagram reel. I said, oh, the bedroom's up there. Okay, the bathroom is there. Oh, good. It has, a power room. We got to see that. We got to. And 15
made us all. Yeah, you just made us all money right there.
Okay, good.
Could you help break down the process of social media? Break down the process of creating some of the short form videos. Because I know sometimes people get in their head, they're like, this doesn't look good, or maybe I don't have, a iPhone 13 or 14, or whatever, right? Could you talk to us about your process for creating that short form and maybe how to like get out of your head a little bit?
Yeah, well, I'll give you 4 points, and I'll share this for your listeners on the show notes as well. And so with short form video, I really 4 main points. The first thing is we're going to use the word short. We're going to keep it short and sweet, right? Aim for videos that are 30 seconds or less at first, with their first introduction to you. I'm not going to watch a 2-minute video, even though you can upload that on TikTok, even though you can put that on Reels, 90 seconds. Keep it 30 seconds, 15 seconds to 7 seconds is a sweet spot. If you can get something done in that, that's the introduction. That's the appetizer. Grab my attention. Number 2 is I want you to use some visuals and graphics. And these are all in, if you're using apps, everything, this is not, you don't need to hire somebody for this. This is all in the phone. You can use it in the app of Instagram. I use a free video called, I use InShot. That's a paid one. And then there's another one called Video Maker. I'm just trying to make sure I have the right thing. It's called Video.
I've seen Video. No, I think I've seen Video Maker. Yeah, no. I think I've seen Video Maker. It has like a little swoopy like logo or something. Yeah.
So the free, yeah, exactly. So it's a free app on Android and iPhone. So you can use some compelling stories. And if you're talking, always use captions. And if you look at any video with a talking head, you see people that have captions on there. I use a program as a paid program called Caption, but you can do free stuff that's already in TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts. Then the third thing is a clear and concise message, okay? So whatever the message is, if you're just doing a walkthrough or if you're wanting people to book your spring special or holiday parties, start with this is what I want you to do. And then the last thing is use calls to action. So we want to encourage our viewers to take calls to action, especially by either subscribing, coming and booking a venue tour, whatever you want them to do, tell them. Because it's a weird thing, John, that when you tell people what to do, they pretty much do it. By and large, hey, come book our venue tour, book a 15-minute call, or click here for more information. So those 4 things: short, sweet, visuals, clear and concise message. You don't have to tell everything on that one message. It could be a video 1 of 4. So venue walkthrough, here's part 1 of 4, 2 of 4. So people want to know, okay, I want to get to 4 of 4 of the venue walkthrough. Yeah. You know what I mean? And use those call to action. By number 4, book us today. Yeah. Or at least schedule a walkthrough.
If you get through 1 of 4, you don't want to leave it done. You can't, that just feels weird. You got to do 2 of 4, 3, 4, like you got to do it, especially if it's a low commitment thing like a 15-second video.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. How are you using short form video content right now for your business?
For our business, what we're just using them to show people exactly how, for instance, I do a lot of corporate work now. So I do a lot of weddings, but I do more, I'm pivoting more into corporate and nonprofit work, headshots. So I'm showing the process of me sitting down, taking a picture and showing how the picture comes out. So we love before and after. We love behind the scenes and seeing. That works like gangbusters. This is how the venue looked before empty. This is how it looked, boom, fully decorated. We love that. So that is a great way. I use it right now, and my clients and my mentees use short form video to tell stories. You know what I mean? We want to make sure we help them to tell stories and go behind the scenes. Another way, we help them solve problems, and because everybody comes, I know everybody doesn't come to a short form video on TikTok or Instagram Reels or even Shorts looking to solve a problem, but a lot of people are. Nowadays, at least in the wedding industry, the first problem they have is they're looking for a venue. They got to book that. That's the largest expense, right? So that's the problem they have. They know they have to have a venue, because if you don't have a venue, you don't have a wedding. So that's the problem. You are going to solve it by booking your venue, by showing exactly what you have to offer. And then I like to show and don't tell. And that's the thing I like about video. Now, what I've learned over the years, you can show. It's like tell me you're a boss without telling me you're a boss. Tell me you have a badass venue without telling me you have a badass venue. You know what I mean? Without telling me. So show me that your venue or your product is superior without telling me. And then use something called user-generated content. Repost that, especially with venues. Venues have so many people coming in. You can just repost, give people credit, and use a UGC that is gold. I wish I could have user-generated content. Sometimes I get some behind the scenes of me working, but a lot of content I have to create it myself because it's me. But if you have something that a space or product you're selling, user-generated content. Invite an influencer to come over. There is a bed and breakfast that I know that I talk to as one of my clients now, and where I live in the venue, they've done a wedding there, but she said during the pandemic, a TikToker single-handedly helped save her business because what happened is that she did a TikTok and it got so many views and people booked the bed and breakfast just off of that TikTok. And she didn't pay the TikToker. The TikToker came to just as a guest and did it. So that's how some people do. And she reposted it and it went and it gained traction.
So user-generated content, UGC, as you were saying, could you give me some examples of it? Like video, obviously you want a TikToker to come, but if it's not that, what are some examples of user-generated content?
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be somebody who's a content creator. It can be somebody who's leaving a review about the food, about the decor. It can be a florist that comes to your venue and shows his or her designs, and you repost it. So it's something that you could do, or if you even have a contest or some type of hashtag thing going on, and have some kind of contest that, hey, we want to see who can come in and at this venue, at our venue open house, and film the best. They'll get a gift certificate for, whatever you have. You know what I mean? So you get some kind of contest with a hashtag to who captured it the best. So you can ask for it, and then there's some stuff that just happens organically. Because nowadays, whenever we're going on venue tours, I know my fiance right now, the first thing she does is pulls out her phone and she does this. She goes around. You know what I mean? Now, does she post that on TikTok? Probably not. But I'm just saying there are some people that actually do that. So if you're strategic and you say, hey, can you hashtag us? Can you tag us? Because you have to ask these questions and ask people what they can do and that's how you can get a lot of user-generated content.
It's kind of tying into what you said before about, you got to sometimes ask for the action. You got to have a call to action. You got to say, hey, book a tour, book a thing. So if you see him taking that video, say, hey, if you're going to put that on social media, can you tag our venue? And then you can do a repost. So I have a question. Give us some other examples, because that was just for me like such an unlock. I felt like earlier when you said that walkthrough, like I don't even know, like we create content, we're not creating walkthroughs. So I think that's going to be huge for the audience. But what are some other examples, maybe specifically for venues, of types of short form video that they can create to help educate their audience around the product and the service they have?
I think that every venue, especially a venue owner, is owned by a person, a human being. We want to know the human being behind it. The building is nice, but we want to know the person behind it. When I book a venue, because I'm in the process of booking a venue, book the venue, but it's good for me to know. I don't have to know the owner, but for me to sign that contract, I want to feel the owner's spirit. And when I say feel the spirit, I'm not talking about, a kumbaya, we're going to have a meditation, anything like that. But when I say I want to make sure that when I'm making this investment, that it's something that is a transaction that I feel comfortable with. And we do that by getting to know people. And we know the venue. And I'm not saying every venue owner needs to be on video. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that show your people, even if they're working, show what they do, and show the authenticity. If it's a silly venue, a quirky, there's a friend of mine that owns a venue and she's quite quirky and she shows her personality. So that may attract a certain type of clientele, but it may not attract another kind of clientele. So show what types of people, what type of personality you have, because your venue has character already with the architecture. But the character of the owners means a lot as well. You know what I mean? So I think that we have to stop hiding behind just brick and mortar. And I think as venue owners, we would love to see, as I'm speaking from a consumer standpoint, not a vendor standpoint.
Yeah.
We would love to see more people coming forward and not behind a suit and tie just behind the veil. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, come, that fourth wall breakdown. Let me see who that wizard is. Let me see who that owner is. And you know what? If I like you, I'll say, Jonathan, hey man, I got to book this video. I like this guy, Jonathan, and I don't know what it is. I like his venue, but I like him even better. And guess what? He's going to take care of me, or his people are going to take care of me, because I've seen what he's done for others.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because it is such a crowded landscape with the venues that are popping up. Like a lot of venues, obviously, in a lot of industry, wedding industry businesses went out of business, but then a lot came in, right? So now this is the chance to stay, and kind of differentiate yourself from the competition. And that could be, hey, what you're passionate about, what you are. I love that you brought up that quirky thing. Like, that venue owner is going to attract people that resonate with her vibe that she's putting off.
They are. I think about during the pandemic, a lot of venues, if they're still in business, they went under construction. So, everybody wants to show off what they have done and what they have updated. If they had that construction business, this is what happened in 2020, this is what happened in 2022, and this is what we're doing past 2023 and beyond, because we had time and we had effort, especially the ones that's still standing. And just kudos to any venue owner who made it through the pandemic. That's just a feat in itself, Jonathan. For you to have 5 venues is absolutely phenomenal, because it's just to even make it. I can't even imagine how it was during that time.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy because we, in a way, didn't make it. Like, we had a staffing business that we ended up selling, but then we started in 2020 officially the venue management business. So it was kind of an interesting transition. But you're so right. I've talked to a lot of owners on here. The venue owners, there are some people who started in COVID, or maybe even they got their permit, right? in February or even 2019, right? And then they came in, they were so excited, and then, everything slowed down.
I know.
So,
yeah. But it's a time to just do more and show more and put things out on a basis of what you have. And even if you put it out already, put it out again, because new people can see it, put it out again.
We're talking about putting things out. Are there any platforms, we've talked a little bit about TikTok, are there any platforms right now that you feel like short form video is especially effective on?
I'm really liking YouTube right now. A lot of people are sleeping with it, especially for the shorts, because of the scalability and the market with it. TikTok is great for millennials and under, from 18 to 35. I think that's a great market for people, especially if you're looking for brides and grooms and couples. But YouTube is a sleeper. Yeah, it's probably a little bit, it may skew a little bit more to a male dominated, but I think people are going on there. Even Pinterest has short form video. My goodness now. I mean, Pinterest has, we were looking at stationery, my fiance the other day, and she looked at Pinterest and saw some stationery stuff that she liked. And we saw a video, we were able to see it in a lot better than just a static picture. So if you have something, so for instance, if there's a place, so one thing that I know brides love to see, just because I'm in this consumer mindset, is that in grooms too, spaces where things can be held, like place card holders, seating charts, things like that. So you can do, as a venue owner, have a video and zoom in to the space and then do an edit to one seating chart kind of thing there, one seating chart option, and then another seating chart, and then go to another one. And you can show how different seating charts look in that same space. One with a mirror, one with acrylic, one with, you know what I mean? All the people that come in your venue, take videos of how it's set up, but the same space, but different looks. You understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense.
Totally.
I hope I'm making sense.
100%.
Making that same thing. Same thing with florals. So you have one centerpiece, and then somebody else has the same table, same window, and how someone else does that. And then you cut that together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 different ways how a centerpiece can look, or a backdrop for a couple, or a corporate event. So yeah, you have so many people coming through with creative ideas.
Yeah.
all the time that creating at your venue. It's just your job to capture it. You got to capture it.
That's so true. That's such a good point, especially for those owners that are doing more of a blank canvas model where they're not putting the whole thing on.
Yes.
You've got that time during the wedding, or your team has the time to go out there with their phones and just capture the content instead of,
And capture it.
you're documenting.
It doesn't have to be all for your job. It doesn't have to be all for one wedding. That's the thing. We always think that has to be for one event, but it could be a combination of events. But think about it. It could be the same view with different decorations, the same view with different decorations. That's what I want to make sure people get.
Yeah.
You know,
That just like,
thinking in a linear fashion. Everything is not linear. It can be non-linear, and you can go in and plug things in. So you can take something from December, take something from August, take something from February, put it all together and release it in June. We don't know, you know?
yeah. You mentioned that, and it immediately gave us this idea of just shooting, like you said, the same shot. You shoot it for 10 different weddings. You give a second to each of those things. And after those 10 weddings, after a couple weeks, right, you've got a really cool reel that's like snap, 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 snap. You know, that leads me to another question. What does the role music play in short form content?
It's everything. I mean, the trending audio is everything. You see it now within these trending music. I can't even tell you how it does. It does. But remember, most people have their phones on mute when they're watching the video, and then they see it. You know, then they turn it on, especially if you're in a public place and you don't have a headphone on, you don't have the music on. If I know the music is there, I can enhance it. Now, enhance it especially on Reels and TikTok, because the trending sounds, when you click on the audio, you can see all the other Reels or anything else and TikToks that were done with that. So you can go along with the trending sounds, which work. But then if you use your own music and just whatever, I think the content of the quality is going to shine through. Music is good for the gimmicky, can get you a little bit, but I really believe in your visuals, because 90% of people, 95% are going to have their phones on mute, and then they're going to turn the audio on.
Yeah.
To see it later on. But it definitely helps. So never say no, but I'm just saying that I really want people to get on the visuals first. Audio is very important, but I want them to know to don't get on a trend, especially back half of a trend. You know what I mean? You have to know where it is.
Yeah. Chip, I have a question. I know you're a tech guy, and I know, you know a bit about technology here, obviously cameras and video and things like that. But what technology or applications are you using to create short form content?
Yeah. Well, right now, I'm using, of course, my iPhone. I have a Sony camera. It's called a ZV-1. I use that for behind the scenes. I use, of course, I have a model pod. I have a little desk thing from Amazon. I don't know what this is. If you're watching this on video, you see a little desk tripod that goes on there for a short video. Also have like a clip that can go on the back of a seat, an airplane seat, or can clip on. You get these things from Amazon. They're not very expensive. But the main thing is I'm using a regular camera app. I'm not using a bunch of fancy apps. I'm using a lot of free tools here, because I believe that you can use the paid tools. Some of them work well, but the free tools, you can get just as much. Because here's the thing. People don't want to see overly produced things these days. It's okay. Back when I first started video, it was all about having everything vertical and everything overly produced and having everything, just right. It's okay to have something called a jump cut, where something jumps from one thing to another, because we get it. We're okay with that. So I want to say that just the regular app, I'm using some free apps, like I said, from Video Maker, from InShot. There's a paid app. Canva is a great tool. Everybody uses that nowadays, the paid and free version. But you don't have to use a lot of paid stuff right now. CapCut is another one that's involved with TikTok. There's another one. You use templates. They have it. I use that often. And that's CapCut is for the computer and for the phone and for iPad. So you can use that for free. those are great tools, and pretty much learn how to edit on YouTube. Heck, my daughter, I have a teenage daughter, Jonathan, and she taught me TikTok. One day I was taking her to school, we had some time, and she had a little delay, and we sat in the car. I said, hey, I asked my daughter Sydney, I said, hey, teach me some stuff on TikTok. And she showed me, and I got it just like that. And that's how I got on TikTok. It was like probably about maybe a year and a half ago. I'm late to the TikTok scene.
Wow. Well, no,
I 16-year-old. I asked my 16-year-old to teach me.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a lot that's happening right now on TikTok, on some of these platforms, because they're realizing like short form is here to stay. It's not just like a fad. I'm curious your take on when you actually go to create the video. You post it, right? Whether it's a visual one, a talking head, whatever it is. Once you post it, should you ever take it down and like repost it? Like, does posting timing matter at all? Or do you just kind of say, throw it up there and keep creating?
I like having one of my friends calls a content cadence. So I didn't come up with this term. A friend of mine named Brittany came up with this term. And what she says, and what I've learned from her and other people, is that if you're having something, be intentional about it. So if every Friday we know that you're going to have, let's just say Fitness Fridays, whatever, I'm just making this up. So we want to see a video about fitness every Friday. If you have like something Wellness Wednesday. So if you can have that kind of cadence where you know that Wednesday, and even if somebody watches it on a Thursday, it doesn't matter. We know on Wednesday, I'm looking for that video. Now, if you don't do it every Wednesday, of course, it's fine. And you don't have to have that. But I like more of a structure for a venue or for a business, a more structured approach. Now, if you're doing it for personal, it's a little more free flowing, anything like that. But if I have a venue, if I have something where business, I would at least have something called a content cadence, and you put that on a content calendar. And what I want to say by that is that Mondays, you have something, Wednesdays and Fridays. So you can at least post 3 times a week, and you have 3 different things, and it can be Munchy Mondays. So you can show your chef what he's cooking if you offer food in your vendor, Wellness Wednesdays, and then Fitness Fridays or whatever it is. I'm just throwing these names out here, but have that cadence where they can count on that. And then you'll be able to build your calendar out. And then even if you miss a week, you can always come back. You say, I got these ideas for every Monday, what I want to do. And then you can build them up because they're not date specific. I mean, you can have some stuff, like say if it's a 4th of July or something coming up, or St. Patrick's Day or Easter, you have those special holidays, of course, but you still have that cadence where you have everything in a row. So hopefully scheduling works out better because people are busy. You're running your business. And if you don't have a social media person, or you don't have a 16-year-old like I do, who can help you with TikTok. And so you need something or somebody to have some, a strategy behind a post, because we can just post on a whim. But I think the strategy is probably the most. And you don't have to do 3 videos a week. I got it. It could be a swipe file of photos on Instagram. And those do really well. A swipe file. It doesn't have to be video. And it could be it could be a Thursday where you just search out for user hashtags and see what other people are doing at your venue, and repost old stuff. I'm talking about stuff that's way down on your feed. I saw something from 2016 I shot, Jonathan, the other day, and it was at a venue in New York that I really like, a really high-end venue. And I'm not in love with the video because my videos from 2016 to 2022 look totally different, but it's more of, I can tag the venue. It was a great moment, and I know that it's a Throwback Thursday moment for me. So I know tomorrow, Thursday, Throwback Thursday, at that venue, when I tag them, they can repost that and say, hey, I did this back in September 2016. And I found the clip just today.
That's amazing. I have a question that I'm going to ask someone to tee you up for it, right? So you can kind of be thinking about it a little bit. And then I've got a question that I'll ask you. So I'm going to kind of ask you 2 questions right now. If you had to give me a store that is a comparison, like a, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, right? Sam's Club, Costco. You had to give me a store that you associate with a social media platform. I'm curious what you'd give me. Associative store with TikTok, Instagram, and shorts on YouTube. So let me know there. But while you're kind of thinking about that real quick, do you think that people should be using planners or like schedulers, Plannerly or, some of these Tailwind, some of these different apps that help like schedule posts out, or should they be just scheduling it directly from their phone?
Yeah, I am a proponent of scheduling directly if you can, but I have used Planoly and I have used Tailwind before. They work well. And some people don't have the budget for it. If they don't have the budget for it, Facebook Creator Studio has a great post. But the thing I love about Planoly and these other ones, they can post for you, and you have it scheduled. If you have somebody who's a third party, and you can have them have a separate login, I really like that. And if you have the budget for it, I would use that. So I'm not against it. Me personally, I don't use it now in my business. I used to, but if I know that the person doesn't have a lot of time, I really suggest that they first try the free with the Facebook Creator. We go on Facebook, Instagram. But remember, TikTok, I don't think you can post third party. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure on that one. But regardless, I would suggest to try it out yourself. And if it doesn't work, that's when you go to the paid version. I always start with the free, and then you upgrade. You know what I mean? And you upgrade, you try it first.
Well, have you seen any advantage or disadvantage for using a platform like that in terms of like engagement or, the type of love you're getting from the actual platform itself once you're using that third-party posting tool?
No, I haven't, but what I have seen is that sometimes you need to respond as a person to comments and things like that. So I think you have to get on the app to engage with people on there. So I think that sometimes we think as venue owners and people in the business that we could just post and go. Either post and stay first 48 and 24 hours, respond to the comments. Even if it's 2 days later, I'm responding to the comments, or at least hitting the like button on the comment or doing something, show them that go. So I do see some difference, not much right now because it's so commonplace for people to automate posts. So I don't see a lot of a difference, but I do see difference when you post and you don't I go in the comments, engage and reply to them.
Perfect. All right, the question that I teed you up for.
Okay, good.
So stores.
Yes.
For platforms, like tell me what you're thinking.
All right. All right. So Instagram right now is doing everything, trying to copy everybody. So we're going to put Instagram in a Walmart category because it's trying to be everything to everybody. Walmart has groceries. Walmart has clothes. Walmart has tires. Super Walmart has, almost like a daggone Home Depot sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Walmart is like the Instagram. Instagram is like a Walmart. Okay.
All right.
Tries to have everything. I'm not saying that they're discounted, but they are kind of all over the place right now.
Perfect.
TikTok, let's see. So we're going to see, I'm an East Coast guy, so we got to see. So some stores on the East Coast, they don't have on the West Coast, and you're on the West Coast.
Fire them over. We got an audience across the U.S., so we're people will know.
Across the yeah. So I'm trying to use big box stores that are all over, at least department stores, retail stores. Oh man, you got me a good one. YouTube would be more like Lowe's. I would say Lowe's is kind of a more sleek kind of. Home Depot was great, but I think of Lowe's, I think of a very organized, clean. I go to Home Depot, sometimes it's just a mess. I like Home Depot. I lie, and I live right down the street from Home Depot. But sometimes it's just all over the place. Lowe's, I go in there clean. YouTube is sleek, clean. You find what you want, easy, get on, get off. And it's right there. TikTok, oh man, that could be, it's hard to say what TikTok is. But you know what I want to say TikTok is? It's like the new strip malls. It's not the old malls, but a strip mall where you can get into almost anything. So it's not one store. It's like the new outdoor strip malls that everybody has now. Because back in the day, at least when I'm growing up, showing my age, we went indoors to malls. Now everybody has malls. They go in the store, they come outside.
Yeah.
And the malls that we know are in neighborhoods. The strip malls are intertwined with hotels. And when I think of TikTok, it's just everything intersected, a strip mall. If you want this, if you want that, You come in there, you can go in there, but then strip malls, you can stay there for hours. And TikTok, you could be on this thing for hours. Like you could be in a strip mall for hours and hours and hours, just walking around.
I love it.
Does that make sense? I don't know. Did I do okay?
Does.
Tell
It
me if I
does.
did okay.
No, you did really good. Outdoor strip malls, Lowe's, and we got Walmart. I love it. I asked this question to somebody else, and they said TikTok was Party City, which is like, I don't know if you have them on the East Coast, but it's like a little bit of everything too.
Yeah. I can't think of one store with TikTok. So I'll say a strip mall. When I say a strip mall, I'm not talking about a strip mall. But I'm talking about like a strip mall that has multiple nice stores inside of the strip mall. I'm not talking about just a strip. Yeah, outdoor malls. That's what I mean. It's not really a strip, but it's an outdoor mall. They have them a lot in Florida. Florida has a lot of them. I love it down there. Florida has a lot of them. Alabama and in the South. I don't know out west do they have a lot, but I know down there they have a lot of them.
We do, and I mean we're here in Southern California, but in Texas, where I'm from, Dallas area, like all the malls are moving outdoors. Like you got those big, big box retailers that are in big buildings, but it's kind of, you're right. I mean, it meanders throughout a suburban area or whatever. So that's very true. All right, well, Chip, we're wrapping up today. I wanted to know though, question I ask everyone at the end of the show, what's your favorite part about what you do, what you get to do every day, and what's your least favorite part? And let's start with the least favorite first and end on a high note.
Well, sometimes least favorite part is just dealing with contracts and getting all the legal stuff and the tax stuff. That's just like, oh my God. As a business owner, you know how it is, Jonathan. You got to get the taxes done. And April 15th, April 18th comes every year. And I procrastinate every year on my accountant. And I'm going to talk to her probably as soon as I get off this podcast. But that's my least favorite part. We have to pay Uncle Sam, right?
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah.
So that's my least favorite part. But I'm grateful that we have a system that works, and we know every year that April is coming, and we know that we can postpone it a little bit, but we have to at least legally pay up. And I'm grateful for our system here. Though. I'm glad to have a business, to be a business owner here at the good old US of A.
Cool. And then what about your favorite part?
It's really seeing transformation of people. And when I say transformation, I'm talking about those aha moments, and creating moments for people, for events, for my couples, for corporate events, and then mentees, seeing them go from when they feel sometimes that they're zero and getting those aha moments. Even saying like today, when you say, hey, I'm going to do a walkthrough, that motivates me, because if I can give you 1 or 2 tips that can change your business, that can change figures in your business, that motivates me. If I help you get more business, that can help your family. That can help someone else's family. Because when you help yourself, you hire more people. That more, it helps the economy. You know what I mean? And it's just a ripple effect. And sometimes it just takes it's like those those few steps that you take. It's like, it's called a slight edge, like a book called A Slight Edge. That you take a little micro step that could just make a huge difference. So I'm grateful for that. And I think that I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't. I would go back to teaching, and I like teaching a lot. And I may retire as a teacher, a professor again. But it's just those things, seeing people and helping people. Because there's somebody came to me about 2 weeks ago and said, Chip, with my business, it was on flatline, and you gave me some tips, and I was able to rebound, hire some people, and and not only grow myself, I'm able to purchase this. I'm able to do this. That means the world to me, because I know that I'm here for not just enriching myself, but we're here to enrich others. And I think that's what makes the world go round. I mean, when we're here to enrich others, I think that's what we're here for.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. And honestly, you're an educator now, right? You've got those mentees. Like, you are a teacher. Maybe it's not in the formal school system, but you're doing this. You taught us some stuff today. So I'm really thankful for you coming on the show, and this has been fun. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thank you for having me.